What's up, everybody? Chris Flick here. Today we're going to be talking about the washed up athlete, the former athlete, that guy that's like my age, which this is literally me, who wants to get a little bit faster, who's working on their speed, all right? Now, in the past, I've talked about there's a season for everything, right? There's a season for long running, right? There's a season for long intervals. There's a season for sprint work. There's a season for hill work. There's a season for learning a new thing like cycling or swimming or rowing, whatever, right? Throughout the course of the year, change up your modalities, right? In the summertime, my focus is speed, man. Speed, speed, speed. Why do I want to focus on speed, right? One, I don't want to be that individual that gets up and has to move quickly somewhere and feels like they got no fast twitch ability, no ability to move in a quick burst of energy. Now, hear stories about people that need to go help somebody, right? This guy, I talked about in a previous episode. He was at a park, he had to go run and help somebody with a dog, and he's like, crap, I am too slow. I cannot sprint anymore. He thought all of his cardiovascular work was fine, but really what that did is that it made him a little bit slower, and he realized I need to get some speed work into my training, right? So we're gonna implement that thing right now. With myself, there's 6 different ways here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that I'm adding this stuff into my training routine, and I'm going to be kind of breaking it all down for you here now. Now, our warm-up here. This is what I do, and it's probably not the best. This could lead to a strain at some point in time, but I've been lucky, and I will knock on some wood here, as I've been pretty good. First thing I do is I walk, and I do some light movements while I walk. Could just be a couple knee hugs, all right? It could be a couple lunges. It could be a couple kicks. It could be whatever I need to do, moving around. Maybe something going side to side, right? I just do that for 5 minutes. Then I run backwards for 5 minutes, all right? We have a hill. If I'm in my yard, our yard is on a bit of an incline. I jog backwards, then I walk back down. I run backwards, walk back down. I'm hoping that this kind of gets the backside of the body fired up and it gets it prepared for what we're gonna ask of it when we start doing some of these other runs, okay? Now, as we get going now, remember, this is about adding speed. This is not anything else. If you're an older individual, if you're in your 30s or 40s, whatever, 50s, and you wanna start running, again, because you used to love it when you were an athlete, or you just like the idea and you never were an athlete. You're not washed up because you still haven't even found your athletic gear yet, all right? You could follow these principles here to get you going. Lastly, if you're an athlete, if you're a high school kid, if you're a middle school kid that needs to train, I think all of these things will do you pretty good in that preparatory phase leading into practices, right? Because there's no better conditioning for your sport than playing your sport. But the stuff that we're going to talk about here can prepare the mom next door, the former athlete like myself who likes to run fast and lift weights. It can prepare the middle school kid that has to play a sport, or it can prepare that kid that plays 3 different sports that has 3 different kind of energy requirements, all right? So, LSD, that's the first thing we need to be doing. You need to be doing LSD, not the drug. Long, the L stands for long, the S stands for slow, the D stands for duration, all right? So we're gonna try to cover distance. That's what the long is all about, right? We wanna go a little bit further. This is preparing our body for what we're gonna ask of it down the road here, all right? Slow. Our tempo, our speed for this is going to be following Phil Maffetone's method here. You take 180 and you minus your age from it. So let's say you're 40 years old. 180 minus 40 equals 140. That's your sweet spot. Try to keep your heart rate under 140. If you're deconditioned, don't exceed that. If you have been working out, all right, you could add maybe 5, maybe 10 beats per minute on top of that, just because your body will be able to handle it. But if you're totally deconditioned, totally new, keep that, use that Maffetone number, all right? 180 minus your age, okay? That number that you get is the top end of your heart rate. Spend some time working that Maffetone numbers. For me, over the weekend, I did a loop that I haven't done in a while, all right? Because of that, my heart rate was a little higher than it used to be. So I had to walk up the hill so I didn't kill myself and get the heart rate spiked. I try to be really true to staying in that zone. All right. Why? Because when I'm done with that workout, I feel pretty energized. It doesn't wipe me out. It allows my legs to feel like they have some life in it the next day. I'm recovered. I feel pretty good. It adds energy and it helps my body feel better. It's kind of a win-win situation. But you got to follow Maffetone's method there. 180 minus your age. The next thing that I'm talking about now is preparing to add speed, right? We just did some long, slow stuff. Now, we need to add speed to our training. How are we going to do it? The 20-40-20 interval. 20 seconds of hard running, 40 seconds of rest, 40 seconds of slow running. Repeat that for 20 minutes. So again, 5 minutes of walking and light movement, maybe some backwards running, and then it's go time, right? I'm running hard, 75%, 80% speed. Remember, we're slowly gonna ramp up our speed with each interval that we do here, with each step in the process here. I'm going 75, 80% speed. Then I'm gonna jog for 40 seconds, then I'm gonna repeat that for 20 minutes. Same type of effort over and over again, all right? Our goal for this is to, keep a similar speed with reps number 15, 16, and 17 that we had for reps number 1, 2, 3, 4. How do we do that? We don't go too hard too soon, all right? Remember, 3/4 speed is probably a good way to think about it. This is not an all-out sprint for 20 seconds. This is a good stride building, good posture, upright posture, moving at a good pace type of deal for 20 seconds. Now, if you want a challenge, you go to a football field and you run 100 yards in 20 seconds, you jog back to the line in 40 seconds, and you repeat that. You see how many times you could do that over and over again. If you could do that for 20 minutes, thumbs up to you. Kudos. Whatever you want me to tell you, you're doing a hell of a job, whatever you're doing. This next part, we're running hills. So we go from long, slow, trying to build a little bit of a base, so to speak, not only in our lungs, but also getting our legs prepared for what we're going to ask for. Then we move to our 20, 40, 20, which is kind of a speed interval. Then we're going to move to some hill runs, 5 by 20. Now with the 20 yards, 20 meters, 20 whatever, it could just be I'm going to sprint to that sign and come back, right? But the goal with this is we have to complete 5 of these in 90 seconds or less. So you don't want this number to really exceed 20 meters or 20 yards, all right? You want to keep that around there so you could run hard, walk back down, and repeat that same effort over and over again for 5 times. So why are we going from 3/4 speed to sprinting up hills? Because this is like a real sprint now, okay? When my foot touches the ground, it's going to be at a higher spot, right? When you run up a hill, your foot, when it comes down and strikes the ground, doesn't have to strike as low as it would on flat surface. It's on a hill. It's less impact on the joint. It's less pounding, all right? So that's why we're going to prepare our bodies for future flat ground sprint work by running with some hills first. I hope that makes sense. And with all of these sprints that we're going to talk about, I like to have a rolling start. What does that mean? It means that I slowly work into the speed stuff. I don't just burst out of there like a cannon, like a track and field star would do coming out of the blocks. That's a recipe for potential disaster with a muscle strain, a pull, anything like that. So with all of this sprint stuff, I try to roll into it. What does that mean again, guys and girls? I'm going to get my body moving a little bit and then accelerate out. Now, it says 5 by 20. You want to complete the 5 runs in under 90 seconds. Once you do that, good job. Go home. The next week when you try it, add another set. Now you're going to do 5 reps of 20. Then you're going to rest for 3 minutes. Then you're going to do another 5 reps of 20. Then you're going to rest for 3 minutes. Each week you're going to try to add one. All right? We start very slow. Why? I guess because we're not as young as we used to be. We are a little bit closer to that washed up category now. The next step in the process is this 10 by 10, 10, 10 run. Now, I have this written up on the board here. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you get a good example. Derek Hansen on Instagram just talks about this all the time. Great track coach from Canada. I think he worked under Charlie Francis, who, if you've listened to this podcast, I talk about a lot. His ideas behind speed training and strength training to support speed training kind of revolutionized track and field in the 80s and into the 90s. So this is what we got here. 10, 10, 10, 10 meters, right? So you're going to run 10 meters, you're going to decelerate for 10 meters, then you're going to walk over here, you're going to reset almost immediately, then you're going to repeat 10 meter run, sprint, 10 meter walk. All right, this is 1. Every 10 meters that you do is 1. All right, so 10 is 1, then you walk. 10 meter sprint is 2, then you walk. You have to complete 10 of these in 90 seconds. So what does that mean? You don't have a lot of time to rest. All right? So you do that all-out effort for 1 or 2 seconds. You take, 4 to 8 seconds to get yourself set for the next one, and then you repeat that, okay? Because if we do the math on this, you have 90 seconds to do it. That's 9 seconds for each one, because you have to do 10 of them, okay? So it's not going to take you 3 seconds, but just keep that in mind. If it takes you 3 seconds to run 10 meters, then you only have 6 seconds to rest, all right? You know, if it takes you 1.5 seconds, then you're gonna have 7.5 seconds. All right, that's a little bit more realistic there. Anyhow, same approach with the 10-10-10. I did this in my backyard. I moved around for 5 minutes, did some stretching, did whatever I needed to in the house. I ran backwards for 5 minutes. Then I just got into it, man. I set the stuff up in the yard. I did this when everybody was still sleeping. You start with one set, then each week you add a set. All right? Simple as that, right? If you end up doing 5 sets of this, I feel like that workout took me about 24, 25 minutes. You can double check my math on it. 4.5, 9, 18. Yeah, 21.5 minutes basically of actual work. Throwing the warm up and all that stuff, then you're looking at a little bit over 30 minutes. So the 10-10-10, it's a good tool. The next thing, 300-meter runs. Our goal for this is 3. So for the 5x20 hills, we're trying to work up to 5 sets. For the 10-10-10, we're trying to work up to 5 sets. For the 300-meter shuttle, we're going 3. 3 reps. Each one of these is going to have a 3-minute rest, okay? So we said a 3-minute break on the hills, a 3-minute break of the 10-10-10, a 3-minute break on the 300 shuttle. What does this shuttle look like? You have 2 cones 100 yards away. You run down, you run back, you run down. That equals 300. Congratulations. If you do this in 65 seconds or less, you're moving at a great pace. Now, once you complete this, once you complete 3 of these bad boys, if you get 2 out of 3 in under 65 seconds, I think we could progress this. If you could get all 3 in under 65, you're doing a great job. But now it's time to make it harder. So if this is 100, now if you're looking on YouTube here, Chris Flicks the name. I'm on YouTube, man. All these videos are going up there. We got 100 down, 100 back, 100 down. That's 300. How do we make it more difficult? We add more starting and stopping, more change of direction type stuff. It takes a lot of energy to decelerate, then accelerate in the opposite direction. It's more taxing on the body. So how do we do it? We change the course to 75 yards, all right? So we were at 100, now we're gonna go to 75. All right, with that, down and back, down and back. That equals 300 yards. If you wanna make it even more challenging, let's say you complete all those in 65 seconds or less, and you wanna go 50, we just have to add more, right? Down and back is 100 yards, down and back is 200 yards. Now you have to go down and back one last time. 6 total passes equals that. If you get that in 65 or less, you're doing a good job. You are closer to being just an athlete, not the washed up athlete part of it all right? Now, that's our 300-yard shuttle. Last one. Again, remember what I said, it takes a lot of energy. It's very taxing on the body to change direction. If anybody's watched the NFL Combine, they do the pro agility, all right? What does that look like? 3 cones. You start in the middle. You run 5 yards this way, 10 yards this way, 5 yards back to the start line. All sprints. You got some change of direction there where you got to do a turn and run, 5 yards, decelerate, accelerate 10 yards, decelerate and then accelerate back to the start line. So let's just say you're not watching this, you're only listening. You start in the middle cone, you have 3 cones there. There's a cone to your right that's 5 yards away. There's a cone to your left that's 5 yards away. On go, you turn and you run to your right 5 yards, right? Then you're gonna run 10 yards to the next cone, touch the line, redirect and come back, run 5 yards to the start line, all right? So you run 5 yards to the right, 10 yards to the left, and then you sprint 5 yards back through the finish line, which also happens to be the start line. I hope that makes sense. Number 1, long, slow, longer duration runs. Number 2, 20-40-20 interval. Number 3, 5x20 on the hill. Work yourself up to 5 sets. If you jump into 5 sets and you wake up devastatingly sore, it's your own fault. Be smart. You're not 20 anymore. Do 1 set, add another one. Next time you do it, then do 2 sets. Next time you do it, 3 sets. Next time 4 sets. Next time 5 sets. Boom, good job. Then we progress to the 10-10-10. While you're doing that 10-10-10, you work yourself up from 1 set to 5 sets, all right? Then we're gonna work our 300-yard shuttles. Then we're gonna work our short area 5-10-5 pro agility shuttle. At any point in time, we could do these long, slow runs. All right? Those also equal recovery. Remember mathatone. Math. 180 minus your age. All right? This stuff right here, this you can do at any time in your life. All right? It's not going to be too taxing. You're keeping that heart rate low. You're not taxing your heart. You're not taxing your lungs too much. And you're not taxing your muscles too much. You should be able to recover and get any kind of workout in the next day. All right? Now, if you want to mix and match a little bit of this stuff, make sure your body's prepared for it. All right? Spend some time doing that 20-40-20 interval. That's 20 minutes of hell. Maybe you start practicing once a week, some 5x20s. All right? You know, maybe eventually you're like, hey, I want to start doing some change of direction stuff. Maybe you add in a 300 shuttle. All right, so one day, say you're going to do this stuff 3 days. Maybe one day you do 20-40-20. Maybe one day you do a hill run. Maybe one day you do some shuttles. All right, you kind of start mixing and matching. You see how your body responds to this stuff, and then you base future decisions on how you feel. There needs to be some sort of self-assessment, self-awareness, some intuitiveness with all this stuff. Don't just try to blast this stuff out like you're some sort of Olympic athlete. You got to get your body prepared for anything that you're going to do. It's always going to be like, I'm doing this to prepare for the next step. There always has to be a next step. Hope you guys like this washed up speed training program, man. If you want to get in on this action, man, you contact me, because I'm doing this stuff every week. I love it. Wouldn't be a bad idea if I had a running partner every once in a while to get that little extra push, little extra jolt. And plus, I think this stuff's great for you, man. So if you like training, if you miss training like an athlete, send me a message, man. chrisflick.net is the website. We got a pop-up there. We got a great newsletter I pump out every Sunday, 7:30 a.m. It's coming to your inbox. Go to chrisflick.net, subscribe to the newsletter. In addition to that, this podcast is on Apple, Google, Stitcher. We're on YouTube. Like the page, subscribe to it, share it, please. We're trying to get this word out. Everything that we're doing online here with this podcast here, we're getting our views up, we're getting our downloads up every month, all right? We want to continue this thing to grow. All this stuff supports what we're doing here at the barn, at the gym, where we're trying to just get these kids out here to exercise, try to teach them principles that can last a lifetime, try to encourage strength and conditioning, fitness, and all that stuff in a nice, fun, exciting environment, man. Hope you guys like this. Washed Up Athlete Speed Plan, man. Peace, everybody.